Welcome to another exciting episode of Confessions of a Rock'n'Roll Cameraman, the Georgie Jamaican edition. I'm here with Rock'n'Roll Cameraman Tony Wanamaker.
Thank you, Pat.
And I am the host, Pat Canavan. I forgot to say that off the top of the show. Yep. But here we are.
Yep.
So, Tony, you never really got to meet Bob Marley.
No.
But you have an amazing Jamaican Bob Marley adventure. Let's dive into it.
Yeah, the world of Marley, really.
The whole world of Marley.
Mondo Marley. Pardon me.
Mondo Marley. What brought you down to Jamaica?
A number of things. I spent better part of the early 80s in Jamaica. And it was amazing because you may recall when we, episode 1, we talked about that I'd never flown on an airplane until I was an adult.
Right.
So the year prior, in 1983, Rhonda and I finally went on we delayed our honeymoon. We went to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. I loved it because Ian Fleming was nearby there writing his Bond movies. And that was the first time.
Oh, okay. So that was your honeymoon?
Yeah, I was there, Ocho Rios, checking it out, loving. I love Jamaican culture. As a matter of fact, I was walking by Kensington Market, I stand correct. I was walking by Kensington Market, and I heard this, Rastaman, be careful. Great song by this fella right here, the Lord Melody. And that got me intrigued in Jamaican culture, man. And everything just stemmed from that album, really.
Really?
Yeah, man.
What an influence. I love how music influences your life because, it's really a staple part of your career, really.
Hugely connected to it, man. 6 degrees of separation. Yeah.
So you get to fly down to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Who did you go with?
Well, the first time it was my wife and I. It was just a vacation. Yeah, and now I'm going on business, right? So I'm down there several times. And so I'm going to kind of mash it up, man, to use the vernacular. I started going down, and so a lot of things started happening for me, right? So I happened to be there. Sadly, I never had a chance to meet Bob Marley, right?
Right.
He passed away of skin cancer many years later. However, I was down there and had a chance to meet everybody from Rita Marley, Still Pulse, Third World, Ziggy, the I3s, Melody Makers. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. So you're down there a couple of times, 3, 4, 5 times in that period.
Yeah.
For new music, I guess.
Well, allow me to tell you the first bit of business. So we talked that I was there on vacation. So early days, I'm a junior cameraman. I'm working at City Pulse News, and I'm at the Royal York Hotel. And I'll never forget this because I'm at the coffee urn in the morning. I'm a coffee drinker. I need it, boy. And I'm having a coffee, and I meet this lovely gentleman, right?
Okay.
Right. My senior. And we get talking, but I'm astonished, Pat, because he's a white guy with a Jamaican patois accent.
Oh, is he really?
And I'm going, that is
interesting.
fascinating. I have never heard that. I was stunned because I'm Mr. Naive. I'm right off the county. I have no idea. I thought that's amazing.
Wow, okay.
We strike up conversation. We're really liking each other. Chemistry is fantastic. And then we have to get ready because the meeting's about to start, right, Pat?
Okay.
And then they call up the Prime Minister of Jamaica, who was that guy I was talking to, the Honorable Edward Siega, right?
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so we hit it off. We hit it off so well that Mr. and Mrs. Siega were kind enough, and they actually, Liz will get close, they sent me a Christmas card, right, from the Prime Minister's office.
Oh, that's terrific.
From the Prime Minister himself. So let's go fast track. Now it's 1985, okay? You got that, Liz? Thank you, dear. And 1985, I'm back in there with some of the coterie of the new music to film aspects of what they call Jam Fest 85, a youth cultural festival. Well, it's fantastic because I'm invited, man, right, to the Prime Minister's residence. Mr. Siega remembers our meeting.
Right, so you're going down, you get to meet him again.
So I'm at Val Royale, which is like going to 24 Sussex Drive here in Ottawa, right, to meet our good Prime Minister Trudeau. And so I'm a new music guy. I got a mullet. I've got a tricolor earring, Jamaican. I've got camouflage pants on. I'm wearing a T-shirt. I don't know I'm going to the government house. With all due respect, I didn't know that. Daniel shows up. He looks like Rod Stewart. He looks awesome and all dressed in black. We look like we're foreigners.
Of course.
We show up this gala. We have a great time. Now, the great thing is that Val Royale is at 36 Hope Road. Okay?
Okay.
And while I'm talking to the Prime Minister, he says, you know who's just down that road there? And that would be 56 Hope Road. And I go, who's that? And he says, Bob Marley's place, at Tough Gong Studios, man. I went, what?
That close to the Prime Minister's house?
Yes, ostensibly we'll talk about Georgie, his backyard. I think technically it connects to the Prime Minister's grounds, which is unique.
That is unique to have like a huge music source that close to the government halls of the country.
Well, and then you set a point, and that is huge influence. What does that mean? Well, every West Indian island is competing for tourist dollars.
Oh, for sure.
So when you have bankable commodity like the Marleys, okay, with the best reggae music in the world and rocksteady and all that started from where the humble beginnings of where Bob Marley starts, and we'll talk about Trenchtown in a second. So take it a step forward. Wow, here we are. Cultural ambassadors, the Marley family, putting it out there. It's amazing. It's like Ireland. You think of the size of the country and the population, but everybody knows where Ireland is and everybody knows where Jamaica is.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They're just so culturally impactful.
Yeah, and one is known for its whiskey, and the other is known for
its rum. Sorry, Appleton rum. It is good, man. Yeah.
It is true. Jamaicans do make fine rum.
They do.
But they also make something else.
They make...
And we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh, yes.
So this is great. So you get to go down to...
yeah, Jamaica again. So I'm there in 85, 86, 87. I think 88 as well. But it was really cool because in 85, a couple things happened.
Okay.
And one of the cool things was I was invited because I remember with Jamie Mandikel, awesome associate producer for New Music at the time.
Yeah.
I'm also with Peter Lynch again from Video Culture and his posse. And I think there's a guy, Alan Winters, who was a tech guy. The reason I tell you this is that we had a powwow. And I vaguely remember this meeting, but it was like, hey, man, we're going to go into Trenchtown, And Trenchtown is ostensibly... such a pejorative term, but it is what it is. It's a ghetto now, right? At one time, it was this...
At that point, yeah.
They thought it was this lovely place, government housing, it's going to work. Well, it didn't, and it became a scary place. And it became a place of refuge for certain people, like Bob Marley, because Bob Marley believed in his music, Pat, and he wasn't making any coin.
No.
And when you're walking around saying, I got a song on my head, and you got nowhere to live, people really don't know if you're on the level. There was one guy named Georgie. And Georgie made the cornmeal porridge, man, that sustained everybody. It's a cheap meal. It's a baseline food. And he was making that and allowing Bob Marley to stay there. Additionally, there's a guy named Vincent Ford. And Vincent ran sort of a soup kitchen in this area, right?
Okay.
So it was amazing. So that's a bit of the history. Why am I telling you that? I get a chance to go to Trenchtown, man.
Ooh, what was that like?
Now,
because...
And I'm going to be delicate here because
Yeah.
I don't want to be indelicate because I just want to say there's not many gringos who go to Trenchtown.
Well, yeah.
Okay, if you folks know what I'm saying. So that being said, I'm there on the invite of Massive Dread, who happens to be a gangster. Okay, and he runs some of the yards in Trenchtown.
This kind of almost sounds like
It's crazy.
an encampment prison.
But it's not.
Crazy weird.
And you'll
place.
appreciate it. So this guy is hardcore, and he lives a life like the Jets versus the Sharks. Okay?
Oh.
Okay? And this is nice ropes and guns and whatever else they use, but he controls power now. But he's an ambassador, cultural ambassador, because he wants to enrich the people in his community. He's in charge. He's worked hard to get there. And the guy's amazing. He's a short guy, probably about the same height as me, dreads, and it looks like I've never seen a checkerboard stomach like that and piano wires for moving around as ligature in his arms. It's amazing. He's so strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's almost like an impromptu natural mayor.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Yep.
Like, okay, who's the mayor? Well, we're not going to vote because it's this guy.
And he was also a good friend of Island Records chief Chris Blackwell. And Chris Blackwell, as you know, signed Bob Marley the Wailers.
So these guys are connected.
Yes.
Just because of life and music.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
So he becomes Massive Dread. You go into Trenchtown.
Oh, yeah. I go into Trenchtown. I go into Trenchtown in a convoy. I have to be lying in the back seat, lying down so I'm not shot. And the guy driving me shows me he's carrying a .38 snub nose.
Ooh.
That's my protection. And he said, and you'll understand this, when I get to the yard, and the yard's more like any backyard, but imagine the yard. The yard represents a region, okay? And there's fencing all around it, and that's its own private enclave, okay? So he just said, don't be sticking your white face up above the fence, ever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So I stayed in the art, but what I did was amazing. So working with Video Culture Festival, and again, Pat, 1985, and you underscore the technology here. So I'm videotaping in the day. These kids were preparing like it was Canada's Got Talent show. They had been working on this for weeks, whatever it was, maybe a little song, a little dance, whatever it was beautiful, endearing, and I cried every time I shot it.
Really?
It was amazing.
That's
the children
terrific.
were also intrigued, Pat, that there was a cameraman there of my complexion that they had to come up wearing shorts and touch just to be, is you really that you?
Right.
So that happened. At night is when it really came together for me because my friends put up a large projection screen, 1985.
Okay,
I'm filming
yeah,
composite signal, 3/4-inch video. I got it, but we can put it on that and play it. So at night at our tropical drive-in, right? It's amazing. You see these images, these kids. They have never seen themselves projected on TV before, right? It's fantastic. It is the most humane thing I've done. It's fantastic. And what I noticed in that noir image illustration, everybody was black and white.
Yeah.
Think about it.
That's really cool.
Think about it.
The other thing that just tweaks my imagination is how you guys showed them themselves.
Yes.
Digitally.
Yes.
Right? In a way that nobody could have ever done that before.
Yeah. Think about the immediate feedback.
The immediate feedback.
Never happens.
Exactly.
Never happens.
You know?
Today we do it all the time. We don't even think about it.
It's
80?
a match.
That was unbelievable. That was like me saying, yeah, it was 1980, we went to Mars.
Well, it's like them coming up to you and saying, oh my God, I've never actually touched a white person before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it's crazy. So now I have a chance that I'm in Trenchtown to really feel what it was like. This is the place, right, where rocksteady, where reggae was invented. Here it is. This is the place, right?
Yeah. And you're under the protection of Massive Dread.
Which is pretty cool, right? That's actually a quick aside where I was grabbed a cab one night and the cab didn't go where I wanted. The cab went to a gas station and pulled me over. And some big guys came out.
Yeah.
This big mummick walks up to the car. Lo and behold, I just said, I knew I was in trouble. I was going to be carjacked. I'm going to be robbed. And I just said, hey, I'm with Massive Dread. I just hope you know. And they're expecting me at a hotel in about half an hour. You guys can deal with it. Are we cool? Suddenly, the lady nods to everybody. And the cab driver comes back, gets in the car, the people leave, and I go home. I didn't tip him.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Well, I had a tip for him. Don't fuck with me.
So that was me in Trenchtown. But now, a year later, Pat, a couple things have happened. First one was I was at the National Stadium. There was going to be an unveiling of a Bob Marley statue.
Okay.
So it's beautiful. You see him, dreadlocks, Les Paul guitar playing, right? Mm-hmm. He's coming of age. Ziggy Marley, his son, it's uncanny resemblance to his dad.
Yeah.
Right? And he sings No Woman, No Cry. And I could hear a pin drop in the middle of Kingston, Jamaica. People were, this was the incarnate of Bob Marley singing or something magical was happening because we were all transfixed, okay? Beautiful. Next year, I'm back again. This time I'm at Tough Gong Studios, and it's really cool because Tough Gong, by the way, is the nickname for Bob Marley. Okay.
Oh, okay. So that's I didn't know that.
That's his street name, Tough Gong. He's a tough guy, right?
Oh, okay.
Tough Gong. And so here he's in the studio. And what's really cool when you come into the compound, there's that main house, right, which is a turn of the century classic West Indian tropical house, right? And to my left, I recall, would be this elongated structure, and that's where they're actually pressing vinyl. They are making. I bought this record there, man. They're pressing these things right there. This is it right here. They're pressing that stuff.
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
So right at his house, okay, and in the back. Remember I mentioned Georgie?
Yes.
Georgie, because he helped Bob Marley when nobody would pay attention to this guy.
Sure.
Okay, he gave him now the rest of his life. He's with the family. He's this patriarchal character, and what his role, I really think it is, because all popular bands have entourage. Yeah. Everybody kind of has a job. Elvis, the Memphis Mafia, for example, right? So in this tropical mafia, not really, but in this tropical group, Georgie had that elder statesman role, and he connected him, always reminded of the roots. You're never that far away. Remember we always say here in Canada, you're 2 paychecks away from being on the street, be nice to people?
Yes.
It's that kind of notion.
Well, and the great thing about Georgie is he is sort of the spiritual leader. He's the caretaker, and he, you know, coming from your story, because of course I've never really met the man, but yeah, he's the caretaker. And what's awesome is that group honor the elder people who took care of them. You know, our society's kind of lost that, and I don't really want to get into that right now, but we really have lost that. But it's great to see that they've honored him in such a way that they keep him part of that family.
That was incredible. And his name is George Headley Robinson. And a lot of people don't know that. They just know him as Georgie.
Okay,
right?
George Headley Robinson.
Yeah, and why I tell you that, because I just want to honor the man, because he was eulogized in a Bob Marley song, No Woman, No Cry. And I'll tell you specifically where it says in that song, because don't forget, imagine when a musician gives you the coveted honor of writing your name, your character in one of their songs, because it makes a difference. And that's a hugely popular song. And people always hear Georgie. Well, I'm working with Georgie now, because Georgie lives at the back. It looks like a set from Survivor, right?
Oh, really?
And you're back there and you think it's tribal council, but it's not. This is going to be a meet and greet with Georgie, right?
Okay.
And it's unbelievable. So he's posted back there. But in the song, it says this verbatim. It says, I remember when we used to sit in a government yard in Trenchtown. And then Georgie would make the fire lights, I say, a logwood burning through the night. And then you'd listen for a while, and this is really cool. And then Rita Marley and the I Trees come in, and they sing, everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. And amazing, right? And here is the physical representation of that frickin' song, okay? Now, I'm going to get to the punchline a little bit later, but I'm going to tell you the preamble getting there. So, I'm in Tuff Gong, and I'm interviewing a couple of guys right off the bat. If you look at some of the film footage, you'll see Bob Marley playing football. No. It's soccer, but it's football in the West Indies and most other nations. But,
yeah, in the entire world, except for North America, it's football.
It's footy. So you see my playing. So we put a red convertible there. May seem to make sense. And I want to get these fellas right because they're from the band Third World, and they had a nice little song at the time. I remember dancing all the time. Love you with a sense of purpose. Really cute song. And so I was with William Bunny Ruggs Clark. I was with Stephen Cat Core. I was also with Michael Ebo Cooper. And so we got them in, right, into the sedan. And Michael Williams, love you, Michael. You're on the other side. Michael's trying to curry favor with this guy, so this is what he's going to do next, right?
Yeah, because you're in Rome, and you're basically there to shoot them for...
Yeah. So we get everybody set up, and then one of the band members from Third World pulls out a blunt, right? A marijuana cigarette, a blunt the size of a child's forearm, okay? And I just went, wow, okay, that's amazing. And Michael and I think it's going to be really creative that I'm on the driver's side, he's on the passenger side, and we're going to shoot them this way. The problem is, I'm getting whacked from the secondhand smoke immediately. Hiroshima clouds, right?
You're kidding. The famous sort of Jamaican Bob Marley hemp is making its way into your mind.
Smoking ganja.
Yeah.
And Jamaican ganja. Ganja is really the word for Jamaican weed.
Right.
But we are smoking high THC levels. So
you're not even smoking it. You're just secondhand getting it in because I know you. You don't press the camera button when you're
not when I'm toasting. No, not when I'm toasting. And the next thing you know, I'm getting enveloped by the smoke. And what's happening now? Michael's stoned too now. We're all stoned, right?
The band's stoned. The two of you guys.
So we're off sync now. So no word of a lie. When I go down like this to shoot, Michael is gone over here somewhere, and I come back up. So we can't even coordinate. It falls apart. It's over. It's not happening. John Martin walks in, right? John Martin's been watching with Rita on the side. He walks in with the dart, and he says, "Yeah, that's it for now, Tony. Michael, we'll try and pick it up later. We're never going to pick it up, right?" And John splits to go get another red stripe, right? And Rita goes, "Well, come on, Tony. I'll take you for a walk around. I'll show you the compound." So I went with Rita Marley to have a look at Tuff Gong.
Oh, jeez.
I'm walking...
What an amazing... I just want to let that soak in for a minute.
It's a pretty big deal.
That is a big deal.
And here in Timothy White's book, this is the Bible when you want to know about the Marley family, the Catch a Fire. It's amazing.
Catch a Fire? Okay.
And in this book I was reading, because I always like to enrich. If I know experience come out, I get the book that resonates with, and I read it, and I know more about the folks, and it's fun. But Sky High. Okay, he took me around with Rita because he's a bodyguard, right? And he'll show you the suture where the bullet went through his mouth, because Bob Marley's an attempt to assassinate him in '75. And ironically, when they were playing, I Shot the Sheriff, and gangsters came in and started firing. They shot Rita Marley in the face, in the head, right in that parking lot we were doing that interview. And they shot Marley, grazed him, and all this happened. It was unbelievable. They survived it. And this guy here took a bullet for the boss.
Really?
Yeah. So it was kind of neat in his presence. So they get tired of me because I'm just drifting and enjoying life too much. And they go, ooh, tranquil guy.
And they're used to what's going on in the air. And you're just not.
So they say, okay, well, you're doing fine. Find your way around. And so I did. So I hear the band playing. I hear this band playing. And I immediately march over there, and it's amazing. So classic. It's an open-air garage, corrugated steel roof. Yeah. And in there is Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers, okay? So that's all the Marley kids.
Yeah,
right?
It's all the Marley kids.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, it's so cool that the family is so musical and how it's actually kept them together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And they were youthful, right? No question. But they were working on a song for their new album called Conscious Party, and they had Tomorrow People, which is a huge hit. And they end up, I was watching a year later, they win the Grammy, the best reggae album.
Wow,
and you see them practicing. So Ziggy picks up that I'm obviously in an enlightened state, that the endocannabinoids are kicking in, aka I have the munchies.
Yeah.
And that being said, he goes, hey, he shows me how to procure it. There's a beautiful mango tree nearby. And so I think I'm in a sad state watching them play, and I'm right, and they're just going. He's just enjoying it. Don't worry about that.
Just guzzling back the mango and listening to music.
Don't worry, he's a cameraman for new music. Don't worry about him, right? So that transpires. Amazing to see.
Like that afternoon.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't buy an afternoon like that from a travel agent.
Oh, nice.
You really can't.
Yeah.
Not that there are travel agents anymore, but back then, you just couldn't. I'm in awe of that time for you.
It was amazing.
Great.
And it wasn't over, because now, the orange hues of the day have fallen away to the purple hues of the nighttime.
Sure.
And here I'm on the Survivor set, right? And you can see the constellations through some of the jungle cleavage, right? And see what's happening, right? And lo and behold, man, there's a fire. And there's a number of logs set up, like it's a lovely little campsite, right? And there's a couple of guys from Steel Pulse there, another reggae band. The Third World guys have kind of shown themselves up. There's Ziggy's back there.
Okay.
And it's like, and Georgie comes out of a hut, like Yoda, man, right? And I've been imbibing. I'm really whacked now because it's wild. I'm in the jungle. I'm with these guys, beautiful, huge Rastas, right?
Yeah.
Things are purple and orange, and smoke is great, and I'm whacked, and I'm feeling great.
Well, and you're in the pulse beat, heartbeat of the Jamaican culture.
And then a guy that looked not unlike this, right? Bald head, beautiful dreads, and he comes up with a blunt, and he sticks it right in my face, right? And it's like, oh. So now it's taken on a sort of a spiritual level for me, man. Like, I'm connecting. I'm really feeling I'm connecting to, if you will, Bob Marley, man, through through Georgie.
Right.
It's kind of a transcendental, weird, physical thing for me, all happening at once.
Well, so I guess you would liken it to like a spiritual moment or an event.
Yeah.
And he's your sort of, well, not priest, but
he's avatar, maybe.
Yeah.
He's Marley's avatar, and I'm feeling all this happen.
Oh, you know what?
Amazing.
It reminds me of like the native North American culture with a peace pipe.
Oh, that's exactly it. That's exactly. Because let's talk about it. Bob Marley was a Rastafarian.
Yeah.
That is, in fact, the religion.
It is.
And people smoke ganja and Rastafarians not as a gateway to heroin. It's a gateway to enlightenment.
To enlightenment, yeah.
And don't forget, they understand it. They believe in the Judeo-Christian God. So they thought for a while, and some of them still believe, some Rastafarians, or rightly so, that Emperor Haile Selassie, who sadly was assassinated, Ethiopian emperor, was the second coming of Christ. He was the Black Messiah. Okay? So when they say Jah, they're referring to Judah, right? And the dreads are supposed to represent, right here, the dreads over here, Elizabeth, I'll show you that, my friend, the Lion of Judah.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, a lot of folks, when they think Jamaica, they think, oh, we get high, listen to reggae. Hey, absolutely. I've been on the beaches. I love it. It's great fun. But on another note, it's a religion that needs to be respected as well.
Sure.
Because here in this country, we woke up, and then, what is it, November 2018, and Elizabeth, you indulged me and showed me that, we legalized marijuana. Now, for a lot of folks, Pat, this is medicinal. This isn't, I spent all day tripping out and like, you know, like these negative stereotypes, right? Where to help sell alcohol. We all know that. We've all watched Reefer Madness, the movie. Here we are today. No, this is okay. This is actually a good thing. And because of that now, because it's legal, we can do more research and find more benefits about the medicinal benefits of marijuana.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? So.
And I'm all for that. And, you know, I actually think that's better for you than alcohol.
Oh, I'm with Pat 100%.
You know?
So I
state that, but...
So a couple of things I just wanted to wrap up with you, my friend, and that is the song No Woman, No Cry. And a lot of people, Pat, when they hear it, think, oh, my goodness, sad song of a woman crying, upset. But it wasn't. It's the empowerment of women.
Yes.
No woman, no cry mean woman, no cry in Trenchtown because they're strong. Because they're impoverished, it happens. And think about it, Bob Marley. Everybody else is going, raise your hand if you want to jam and fat. He's talking about real conditions in a real community.
Yeah,
okay?
And he's able to take the culture that everybody's listening to or everybody's entrenched in and put it into a consciousness album, put it into a way of thinking and being, right? Expressing his source. I liken my music to that as well, because it's not all party music. It's what I write is about consciousness.
Oh, it's okay to objectify, to think about something, to break it down, and that's part of the arts. And sorry about that. That's part of what we do in the arts is we distill things to singularities and feed back to people. Yeah. And say this is my interpretation. So that's cool. But I want to tell you, so in this No Woman No Cry song. I did get a quote in 2012, and it was told in the New Music Express by Austin Family Man Barrow, who was one of the Wailers. I worked with one of the Wailers a long time. Leroy Sibbles did a lot of stuff, a bass player. Okay. It was really great. So he said, quote, the song is about the strength of the mama, of course. Strength in the ladies. And we love a woman with a backbone. Something like a wishbone. So thank you, Austin. That was pretty cool. But... we lost, sadly, Georgie, and Georgie passed away just last year, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
Right. And he passed away in October, and I love this. Sedella Marley, who was one of the original melody makers, her brother, Ziggy, was a front person.
Sure.
She posted this on Instagram. It was really quite wonderful. She said, quote, we lost our Georgie, who kept the fire, burning all through the night. Rest well, Georgie. Fly away home. Beautiful. Thank you, Sedella. Nice.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So, again, Rock and Roll Crossroads, a number of meetings, and it's like, thank you, Marley family. Allow me in your lives, allow me to explore that. And Georgie, amazing. I connected with the song, connected, I guess, by avatar with Bob Marley. I mean, Crossroads. I delve into a lot in the book. These are some highlights.
Yeah, they really are. Tony, thanks again for sharing these stories and experiences. Like I said, you can't buy an experience, you know? You can only live it. And I
had to write about it so I could understand it.
Yeah.
It was crazy wonderful. And the book makes some sense of it.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you to our community. Thanks for tuning in. Please sign up to our website. You'll get the medley of the 80s novelette done by our man, Tony Wanamaker.
Thank you, Pat.
And also great deals. When the book comes out, you'll be the first to know. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Confessions of a Rock and Roll Cameraman.